Hey.
Hi.
So I remember when Teeny Bee went through like this little, I don't know, what do you call it? It's like the hump that you get over. It's like another level of business.
Yeah, you called it leveled up.
Like, yeah, in time, I remember when this happened to Teeny Bee and it happened to me the other day, and I was like, oh my god, I've arrived at another stage of the business. And it was actually kind of a crappy experience where somebody came in and they were like, I mean, has this business changed hands? It's all so different in here. I was in here 2 years ago, and there's nothing that I want here now. And I'm like, oh, awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like negatively paraphrasing, but that's how I felt she
She
responded.
said, do you have anything like the plaid shirts that you used to carry?
Yeah.
Which really was never your
Never my thing.
lens.
No.
Yeah.
Right. But I remember when that happened to Teeny Bee, like all of a sudden we were in business 2 years, you were in business 2 years, and I was working there at the time, and people would be like, where is that thing that you had at the beginning? And I'm like, sure.
She came over to my store and she said, I feel like I've arrived because people are disappointed that I don't have the thing they saw 2 years ago. And I was like, oh, I remember.
Don't you remember that? Like
It
when that
didn't
first
feel
started
like
happening?
it didn't feel like arriving for
Oh
me.
no, it was terribly painful when it happened to me, but I was also like, well, that means I've been in business long enough for them to remember 2 years ago.
Yeah, true. But also, so I had a lot of thoughts about this. One is that your memory is not reliable.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? Like, I have had people in my store who are like, no, I remember when you were in the spot next door. And I'm like, well, that's cool, but I was never in the spot next door. And there wasn't a different baby spot in the spot next door. It's just a misremembering, right? And I'm sure that I have it too, but...
Oh, I know I have
Or
it.
people are like, oh, remember when your store was just all like beautiful soft blankets, and I'm like, no, that was never my store either. But sometimes especially after 2 years go by, your perception of what it was like blends with other places that you've gone that remind you of it, or what you wanted, or like who knows what moment they saw.
Mm-hmm.
But it got me thinking about Teeny Bee's almost 6, and
Amazing, by the way.
oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And surreal,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, no, I must be miscalculating. And then I opened Teeny Bee when my daughter was 12 weeks old, and so she's 6, so that's how many years. Like, oh, do I need to do the math again? Like, no. But there have been a lot of different evolution, and especially in that, like, between 1 year and 3 years, there were a lot of times when people would say, like, why don't you have, especially toddler clothes? At first I only went up to a 2.
Right.
Because baby things really stop at 2 years, and it was a natural place to stop. And everyone was like, why don't you have toddler things? I just want a toddler blanket, a toddler sleep sack, a toddler outfit, toddler books, whatever, toddler things. So then I was like, okay, people really want toddler things. But they didn't, because then I bought them and they all went on clearance.
Yep.
For 2 years, all the toddler things went on clearance. So then I backed off of it again. When people asked for it again, and I brought it back. And that time, the people who had started buying baby things when their babies were babies, then had toddlers, and they did continue to buy things, and it worked. But I didn't know in the beginning. I also didn't, in the beginning of buying toddler clothes, this is just one example, but it happens to be a very specific one, I didn't know how to buy toddler clothes, and the things that people were telling me were our word of the season, aspirational. People were like, oh, I just want a beautiful toddler dress that looks sophisticated, and turns out toddlers have opinions and they don't wear that. They wear things with cats, they wear glittery things, they wear things that, like, you lift the flap and make sounds. I mean, like, it took a while for me to get what what toddlers will wear. So like, what do you have to buy? You have to buy the things that are stylish enough for the parents and quirky enough for the kids, and that's a very narrow window. But it has led me to think about the fact that everyone has an opinion about your business.
Everyone.
And you are so easily led astray into thinking, I'm not doing the right thing because they want toddler clothes and I'm doing baby clothes. Or they want
flannel
and
in
I'm
February.
not doing flannel. Or they want striped leggings and I only have bamboo tights. Whatever it is.
Yep.
And then you go out and you try and find that thing that they asked you for. But that one person who said that is not going to come back. And the odds that even if they do come back, that you have the right incarnation of what they were looking for is not possible.
No.
So I think you have to hold that vision. I think you have to stay really true to it. What you want to be and show, what I want my store to feel like, what clothes I believe are the most stylish or the most successful of the collections I see. Because as soon as I try and buy what people tell me they want, I don't know that I can interpret their vision of that. So it's coming through 2 layers. So,
Hey, just set it on the counter. Do you need my signature?
yeah, man. Anywho, I think you just have to stay really true to your vision. But I also think, like I was telling Jill, I was listening to the Lady Gaga Grammys speech, and it was the same thing. You just, like, she said there's a discipline to passion. And I think it's true. I think you just have to, like, hold your vision and believe in it regardless of what all the people tell you. Because people will tell you good things and bad things and the things you should do better and the things you should do differently and the things you shouldn't do anymore. And all of it is just, like, static.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to grow.
And it doesn't mean that people shouldn't give you their opinions either,
Sure.
or that you shouldn't listen. But ultimately, I sort of think you shouldn't listen.
I mean, 2.5 years in, I absolutely agree.
I think the only thing that you can really bring is your vision, your creation.
Yeah.
You were saying that we approach business with a kind of artistry.
We do.
We really curate according to our vision, and that, I think, is what I'm saying. I think that that's 2 different ways of saying the same thing. Like, it's my very specific taste, my eye for what I think is the best. And I don't know if everyone approaches business like that.
Yeah, I don't think
Probably
they do.
not.
Yeah, I don't think they do. And I think that's sort of reflective in our experience at market even. Like, when people are like, oh, you don't like this, but it will sell. And we're like, but we don't like it. You know, like...
I mean, and how do you know what will sell in my store?
Well, and that's a whole nother
You
conversation, but I think there are people that value the feedback of the reps like that, and they're like, oh, this will
Sure.
sell, then I'll get it, because they don't maybe have such a narrow vision like we do.
It's almost more like buying on statistics.
Yeah,
Right?
Which is a thing.
This has a really good history of selling well with
Yeah.
people. But I guess that's just a different way to do it. But it doesn't work for me.
It wouldn't work for me either. I do it by gut.
Yeah, me too. I have an intuition about what my customers are going to respond to. I feel like I know who is shopping in my store enough to be able to navigate what they're going to buy or what they're not going to buy. But what do I know? Also, someone was telling me this week, my Peregrine business partner was telling me about a coworker who was like, I hear you're an entrepreneur. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Do you just like sit down at the breakfast table and like have all these ideas and decide which one to do? And we're both like, nope. That's just not how it works. You're not like, I want to be an entrepreneur, so I will find something to entrepreneur about.
No.
You're like, I have this vision that I just like have to. I like can't stop thinking about it. I have to do it because it's just like eating me alive not to do it, or haunting me that I am not doing it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, don't do it because this is hard. This is a choice that will take a lot of tenacity. So if you don't have that, I don't know that it's gonna work. But then I also thought it kind of is a little bit like that. Like you don't just think like, what other businesses should I start? I think that's the mailman, so I'm not gonna worry about it.
Oh, okay. I think you're right. I think it is the mailman. I think he He dropped off a box
Ooh.
on my counter. So
we should probably go.
we're gonna wrap this up.
But
anyway,
I was saying it is a little bit like that because once you have one business started, you're like, oh, I could also do this thing, and then I could also do this thing, and you like perpetually have more entrepreneurial ideas, which
and you constantly want to fill in the spaces that you're seeing within your own business.
Yeah, like the sew-off, where it's they're like, there's this need, I see it, I feel it for my business, let's fill it. But it's also just not cavalier, like, what business should we start this morning?
Nope. It's
okay.
Definitely not
Anyway, those are my thoughts.
I'm gonna go open this fun box, and you're gonna go make sure that was actually the mailman. Okay.
Thanks, guys.